Look at these two machines. On one side, the silver razor-sharp silhouette of a 1990s BMW E38 7 Series. On the other, the massive illuminated bucktooth grille of the new G70. We are currently living through the Great Unraveling. It's a period in automotive history where design genius has been replaced by corporate amnesia. This isn't just a matter of subjective taste or getting older. It's a fundamental departure from automotive artistry. We are moving from timeless masterpieces to unprecedented design failures. Today, we're performing a forensic examination of 6 legendary nameplates. We're tracing their tragic modern interpretations and asking the terrifying question, why did beauty have to die? The German downfall. BMW and Mercedes lose their blueprint. Let's start at the heart of the problem, Germany. Specifically, BMW. For decades, the BMW 7 Series was the gold standard of understated power. The E38 was a masterclass in proportion and subtle aggression. It didn't need to scream to let you know it had arrived. Then came the F01. It wasn't ugly, but it was the beginning of the end. It was the first sign of bloat and unnecessary complexity. But nothing prepared us for the G70 and the i7. Here, the grille is no longer a cooling vent. It's a desperate cry for attention. By obliterating elegance for the sake of shock value, BMW has traded its soul for a momentary headline. Then we have the 4 Series. The previous F32 was an athlete, harmonious, sporty, and balanced. But the new G22? It shattered the brand's identity. The visual dissonance is staggering. The proportions of the entire car were sacrificed just to accommodate one singular, overwhelming element. It is the point of no return. But Mercedes-Benz is arguably worse because they've gone from sculpture to jelly beans. The 300 SL Gullwing is perhaps the most perfect automotive sculpture ever created. It had a bank vault presence. Now look at the new SL and the EQS. In the name of the tyranny of aerodynamics, Mercedes has abandoned the character line. Their cars used to look like they were carved from a solid block of granite. Now they look like a melted bar of soap. They've traded emotional design for a decimal point of drag coefficient. American and British identity crisis, rugged becomes soft. It's not just the luxury sedans. The rugged icons are losing their souls too. Take the Jeep Cherokee. The XJ's legendary formula was simple. Function dictating a brutally honest, iconic form. It was a box, and it was proud of it. The KL Cherokee was a betrayal. With its squinting headlights and a car-like stance, it denies its own heritage. When you lose the verticality of the grille, the very symbol of Jeep, you strip away the vehicle's soul and its capability aesthetic. It looks less like a mountain climber and more like a computer mouse. The same tragedy is hitting Britain. The Range Rover Classic and the L322 commanded respect through sheer upright authority. They were boxy aristocrats. But the new L460? It is the over-smoothing of a legend. In an attempt to look futuristic, Land Rover has abandoned the sharp-shouldered dignity that made the car timeless. There is a paradox here. By trying to look like the future, they've made a luxury icon look indistinguishable from a high-tech washing machine. The Japanese tragedy, from icon to afterthought. But if you want to talk about a true murder, we have to talk about Mitsubishi. In the 90s, the Eclipse was a tuner icon. It was low-slung, aggressive, and purposeful. It was a car that felt like it was moving, even when it was standing still. The Eclipse Cross is the ultimate insult. Rebranding a legendary sports coupe name onto a generic, anonymous crossover is corporate malpractice. It is a case study in how a brand can completely abandon its own heritage. They didn't just change the design, they shifted from purposeful sports car proportions to anonymous SUV blandness. It's a tragedy of marketing over meaning. The culprits, why beautiful cars had to die. So, who is to blame? Is it just bad designers? Not quite. They are trapped in a regulatory straitjacket. Pedestrian safety standards now force hoods to be higher and fronts to be more bloated to create soft impact zones. Then there is the aerodynamic obsession. In the age of EVs, range is king. Chasing a low drag coefficient means every car eventually starts to look like the same aerodynamic blob. We also have to look at the Chinese market dictate. Brands are designing for a new, massive demographic that often prefers loud, assertive, and status-heavy design over traditional European understatement. This leads to what I call design hysterics, the desperate need to stand out in a crowded market. Finally, there's the sensor apocalypse. Modern bumpers and grills have to be massive and flat to accommodate the cameras, radar, and LiDAR sensors required for driver assistance. But the trend is clear. This isn't just nostalgia, it's a measurable decline in automotive sculpture. We are moving away from cars that stir the soul toward cars that simply satisfy. Let's talk about it in the comments. This discussion defines what we value in the cars of tomorrow.